Hey everybody, it's Clint, back again. I've been sitting here the last few minutes eating some Wheaties with Roscoe Dog, and I was watching a little thing on Instagram, Sheryl Crow. This is apropos to Running, I guess, because Sheryl Crow used to be married to Lance Armstrong. And after the shenanigans with the Tour de France and doping and all that scandal, he did a little running. I don't know if he did ultra running or what, but I've seen him in Trail Runner magazine. They did a whole article about him. And sorry, Lance. I know that you'll probably never hear this, but I didn't mean to bring up all that other stuff. So, just as an aside, like, he was on, I want to say Lance was on Joe Rogan podcast at some point, and to hear him explain it, that whole scenario, the way that he put it was basically, everybody is doping and cycling. He got caught. So once he got caught, of course they all wanted the focus to be on him. But really and truly, to be competitive in that sport, you have to dope and try to get an edge some way. But interesting perspective from him. I don't know if that's accurate or not. I'm not saying that it is. But at any rate, that's not the super important part about what I'm trying to say. I was watching Sheryl Crow, and she's always doing something interesting on her Instagram. I like her as an artist. Of course, when I was a teenager, she was just kind of breaking out, and All I Want to Do was the popular song of hers on the MTV. And I actually had a chance to meet her later in life. I was working for an airline in Atlanta, and she happened to be coming in from Germany. So I was one of the employees that kind of waited for her bags and expedited them through. And during the course of doing that, I actually had a chance to talk with her briefly. It wasn't like a gushy, oh my god, or anything like that, or anything substantial. It was, I can't remember exactly, it was probably something along the lines of, Mrs. Crow, your bags will be here shortly, and, something like that. But you could just tell, like, from the way that she spoke and carried herself, she was a nice person. One of the good ones. And I've always liked her work. Just good old music, I guess. But so, she was doing a thing on Instagram. You can go check out her account. You might like it. You might not. I thought it was cool. But she had herself, and then I think her two children were wearing masks, like not regular masks, but like different kinds of, like a horse head mask, and I think there was a slug mask in there, and so she's singing, and then she's got the rest of her band, but they're all in different places, and they're kind of doing like a remote thing. But she's got one guy playing the slide guitar, another one on a Telecaster, the drummer's going, and this is all separate. One guy on the acoustic guitar, lady on doing the piano, all separate, kind of like they're on a Zoom meeting, but they're playing All I Want to Do. And so I thought that was cool. But yeah, that's just That's just the opener for this podcast. Something interesting. So last time I turned my phone off. I stopped recording, feeling like I had covered all the bases, and then shortly after realizing that I had started a story and maybe several, and then didn't expound on any of it. I got on a tangent, and sorry about that. But one of the main things I wanted to do was talk about interesting things that I have seen on Beach Road going down to the lava flow. I was actually out there again today, and nothing too crazy today. I parked at the usual place and then ran 4.20 miles down to the lava flow, around the sign, and then back up to my truck. Saw the nice older than me couple again, and actually, so I saw them when I started off, okay, and then I eventually passed them and got up to the lava flow and was running back. So shortly after I turned around and was headed back, I saw a couple. I thought it was the same couple. Looked like them to me. I didn't take a good hard look, but same stature, same color clothing, and didn't think much of it because I guess they walk really fast. I don't know. But then I got back to closer to my truck, and then I passed this couple again, and they're walking, back same direction that I'm going. So, I'm running, and I didn't see them run past me. So I hollered out, and at this point they were already like turning around, looking, seeing who was coming, and had some degree of familiarity with them. Not much, but they knew who I was because the lady was asking how far did you run today, and I kind of hollered out. I said, "You guys cheated," and they looked puzzled, and I go, "Didn't I just see you guys up by the lava flow? Did you guys get a ride back?" And they're like, "No, we didn't go up to the lava flow today." And so that's I thought that was kind of interesting. There were two couples. Sorry, excuse me. I've been having to wear a mask at work, and that stupid mask, I think that it keeps like too much. This is probably going to make no sense, but I think it keeps too much humidity and moisture trapped in, and probably all kinds of other nonsense. So I've got a little cough today. Excuse me. Sorry. So yeah, I thought I saw a really fast walking couple, but it turned out to be two disparate sets of people that looked exactly the same to me. So I saw a cowboy, or a man in a cowboy hat inside of like a Ford Escort, and so that's always an odd contrast, or the cowboy hat guy inside of like a family coupe, family sedan, because one kind of lends more to pickup truck, but to each his own. Nothing wrong with that. No shame in that game. Hang on one second. I'm gonna stop this, and I'm gonna cough a lot, and then I'm gonna come right back. And back. Sorry about that. Um, I'm in a recliner too, which is probably not helping. But yeah, so the biggest things that I forgot to talk about the other day. So I did talk about the dogs that were in the back of the full size pickup with the lift kit, and I see them pretty consistently about the same time each day. They'll go up the road, and then a few minutes later they'll come back. I guess they're dropping somebody off at home and then coming back. I don't know, but not today, but one of the days that I was out there this week, there is an older gentleman, and I'll see him walking sometimes. He's got his legs are kind of stove up, so he walks real slow, and he's got kind of he doesn't take big steps. It's a real slow, small gait, and he does not care. I think he's of an age where like all concern has just left his body, and so he walks in the middle of this road, and there's no way he would be able to dodge a vehicle, and sometimes they come blasting through, and so it's a little concerning to see him walking in the middle of the road, but hey, what are you going to do? He was walking one of the days that I was out there. May have been the day before yesterday. It may have actually been the day that I did my last podcast, which I think was Wednesday. But he was walking, and I was coming up behind him, and I think at that point I was walking too, because I had just started out, and usually I'll walk about the first half a mile just to give myself a little warm up. I don't do a whole lot of stretching. I'll do a little bit of I don't know how to describe it, but I'll kind of like right before I start to run, I'll lift my knees up, just kind of stretch out the quads a little bit, and I'll kick them back, alternating. I'll kick my legs back so my heel touches my butt. It kind of, I guess, stretches out the front quads, and I don't know, maybe the calf. I don't know if that would stretch the calf, but anyways, it's more or less just something I do. I don't know if it's helpful or not. But for the most part, my warm up is just a walk for the first half a mile. Anyway, at that point, I think I was walking, and I was walking behind this gentleman, and the truck with the dogs goes by, and the old guy, he, like in a very childlike and innocent way, starts repeating, like very exclaiming, I would say, it's a truck full of doggies. Truck full of doggies. It's a truck full of doggies. And I don't know if he knew that I was there and he was telling me, or if he was just, so excited that he was, saying this to himself. But either way, it was kind of nice to see, and I get good vibes off stuff like that. But God bless him. I wish he would walk on the side of the road, though. A little dangerous out there to be walking in the middle. But yeah, truck full of doggies. He was super excited. So that kind of made my day. That kind of set the tone for like a good rest of the run experience. Other things, I can't believe that I forgot this. So I'm on my way back, and I don't remember if I ran to the lava flow that particular day. I don't think I did. I think I did a truncated route and came back because I left out later and it was getting dark, or maybe I was giving my legs a little rest or something. I don't know. But so, at any rate, I'm on my way back and I see something in the distance. It's a dark. So there were several hills between me and the distance, and I see something dark in the distance, and it was definitely not, like a plant or a palm tree or whatever, because it was moving, and honestly, it looked like something. It was bigger than a human, but I couldn't really formulate what is this thing, and it kind of looked like it was just swaying back and forth. Well, I get distracted because this truck with the window busted out of the back is going past me, and I get focused on that, and then I watch the truck go down the road, and it stops, and then it stops right where this object is, and so I'm running. And finally, I get close enough to see it's somebody was out on horseback on Beach Road, which is not too crazy. I mean, if I was going to ride a horse, I would definitely ride down there. But it's not really like a horse road. Maybe I'm ignorant to horses on roads, but it's a paved surface, so I don't know. I guess if they got horseshoes, it's okay for them to be out on the road, but it was just interesting to see a full-grown horse. And I was going to do a joke. When I used to run in Kennesaw, I think it was Kennesaw Mountain State Park? Kennesaw Mountain Battlefield State Park? I'm sorry, everybody from Kennesaw in the Atlanta metro area, that I cannot remember this. Please forgive me. But when I would run in this park, there were certain parts of it that were for horses. And so you would see horses all the time. I had this stupid joke that I would always do. I would come past somebody on horseback. I would say, "Gee, mister, that's the biggest dog I've ever seen." And, they kind of would laugh or chuckle just out of pity. Well, I wanted to do that joke here, but the people in the truck were talking to the lady on the horse, and I didn't really want to interrupt. But very cool. Got to see a horse, a person on the horse, and there's a little doggy with them too. So stuff like that. It's interesting, right? I mean, you don't see that every day. Even here, it's out of the ordinary. I can only stare at so many palm trees and beautiful ocean waves, and it becomes a bore to me. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, something out of the ordinary is cool. Today, it was cool people that I parked next to. I parked next to a bunch of dudes that I think were going fishing. They had a bunch of what looked like dirt inside of a bucket. Maybe they were going fishing, maybe they weren't. They said they were, so I trust them. They looked totally trustworthy. They had a big old lifted truck, and I asked them if they had caught anything, and they said not yet. So it was already getting dark. Well, it wasn't really. There was about maybe an hour or two of daylight left, but they said they had not caught anything. And I thought, well, you better catch something soon if you're going to do it during the day. But my understanding is there's more fish at night. It's better to do it at night. So maybe that's what they were doing. Maybe that's why I don't ever catch any fish. I think the whole time I've been here, I've only caught 2. I think that's about accurate. And it's not for lack of trying. I've been way more times fishing than that, but it's another story for a different day. So another thing that's down this road, and if you listen to this and a light bulb goes off in your head, and you're thinking, I'm going down there because I'm going to find this place and I'm going to go on their property and blah, blah, blah. Go ahead and get that thought out of your head. Don't do that. I'm just going to tell you that on this road, I have heard before from a guy, I won't say his name, and I won't even say what he told me to call him, because I'm pretty sure this guy is a nice fella, but he's probably into stuff that he shouldn't be, and I don't want to speculate either way, but I just want to leave his name and what he's called out of it. I have not seen him since I started going back down there, but I used to see him all the time. A couple years ago, before the lava flow in 2018. He told me about a house called the Peacock House, and I guess a lady lives down on Beach Road, and she's got a bunch of peacocks, or had a bunch of peacocks at her house. And so I didn't really believe him. I knew there were peacocks on the island because I found the feathers before at the Kahuku unit of Volcanoes National State Park, which is down near South Point. If you're not familiar, just look at a map of Hawaii Island, look all the way down to the South Point. Kahuku unit is on the south I guess side of Mauna Kea. Yeah. So it like comes down into a point. It's on that side. But I found peacock feathers up in that area, so I'm assuming they're up there too, or somebody brought in peacock feathers. Why they would do that, I don't know. So I think a better guess is there's peacocks up there running around. But I knew they were on island. It's just I had never seen them down on Beach Road, and so therefore out of sight, out of mind. But I actually was running. It wasn't even this week. I don't think it was last week, but maybe like 3 or 4 weeks ago. This might have even been before the COVID stay-at-home order, but I saw a peacock. Sorry, that story took way too long to build up to I saw a peacock, but I did. I saw a peacock on this road. It was interesting. It was out of the ordinary. Apparently, the peacock lady does exist, and there's supposed to be a house that has many peacocks on the property, but don't go down there snooping around, messing with people's houses. This is not a good area to do that in general, because it's kind of remote, and I don't know. I wouldn't want to go on anybody's property down in that area, but that's just me. But you don't either, okay? Keep it on the up and up. So yeah, there were more interesting things, and I think I just stopped and tried to give like some kind of life lesson last time. And so what I was saying was true, right? So I don't want to diminish the message that I was trying to give last time, but I talked way too long about it, and I could have actually told you about these interesting things that I've seen down on Beach Road. And so, what's the point of telling you all this? Well, there's not one, but if I had to loosely give one, I would say, the same thing that I've told my son over and over again when he starts complaining, because yes, I do take him out on the trail. Yes, we do go long distances together, and what I explained to him, right, is there will be a payoff, one way or the other. And once it happens, you're going to realize it, right? And so for him, his payoff comes in the moments where, he's looking at a scenic vista, or he's looking at a plant that he's never seen before, or a bug, or something, just something. The weather's perfect, or whatever. And I always tell him, look, maybe we're not going fast, maybe we're not, maybe we're not feeling great, maybe we're tired, but check this out. If we stayed in the truck, we would never get to see this. Okay? And then I tell him, think about all the people that are at home on their couch right now. They're not watching the sunrise. They're not, watching the sunset. They're not looking at the ocean waves. They're not getting to climb this hill. They're watching TV on their couch. And then you've only got so many days to do one or the other or whatever you're going to do. And so when your time's up, all you can have is regrets, right? So you got to get out there, and there's plenty of people guarding couches. Couches are safe. They're always going to probably be safe. There will be somebody guarding a majority of the couches. We need more people out having experiences, right? And that's what I always tell him. And so if I were to stay at home and sit on the fan bike, right, I'm still doing something kind of, and do some kettlebell exercises or whatever, or run on a treadmill even. I'm still doing something, which is great, but then I'm actually missing out on some stuff. I would rather go and see the things, but again, to each his own. Some people would prefer to just stay at home. There's no mosquitoes. You don't have to you don't have to worry about getting run over by a car, which is it's a legitimate fear. It could definitely happen. People don't pay attention when they're driving, not to runners or people on bikes. But yeah, there's plenty of people guarding the couch. There's not that many people out doing the things. So be a doer. Be somebody that's seeing the sights. And that way you'll have plenty of experiences to, first of all, enjoy in the moment, and then to build on for later. David Goggins calls it, well, actually David Goggins is talking about something totally different, but he calls kind of collecting your experiences a cookie jar. And so what he's talking about is hard stuff. So if you do something really hard, you put that in your cookie jar. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be running or anything exercise related. It could be, getting through school or whatever. Being a super nice person. I don't know. You put that in your cookie jar, and then you pull it out when you need it. So when you're having a rough time, or you're doubting yourself or whatever, you pull out that thing from your cookie jar, and then you remember, like, oh, I got through harder stuff than this. I'll get through this. Whatever. Manage. But two, I think the experiences, they do help, because in the moment they make it more enjoyable. But it's like I was saying on the last episode, I still draw from those experiences that I've had in the past, and it kind of makes up a collective. So all the things that I've seen on runs, which is a way more granular view of places, and I feel like kind of a more in-touch experience with these different places that I've been. it's a collection. It kind of comprises how I think of a place or how I remember it and how I think of myself. My memory banks. I have something to draw off of. Some motivation. Makes me feel like I have arrived, I guess. I don't mean that in a pretentious way at all. It just makes me feel like, hey, I ran here, I ran there, I saw this, I saw that. Good vibes. Let's do some more. It opens your mind to what's out there as well. You want to do more. So like right now, I actually have regrets that I had not started running when I went to India. So I've only been to India once, and it was on a business trip. And I was in a place called Tadipatri, which is about, if I remember correctly, I think it was 2 hours, or it may have been 4 hours by vehicle north of Bangalore. Because it was a long drive. I had a driver take me from the airport to Tadipatri, and it was long. I want to say it was 4 hours. It was long. It seemed like it was longer than 2 hours. But anyway, magnificent. I would not want to run in the streets there. I mean, I don't want to run in the streets anywhere. I've said it before. I'll say it over and over and over again. Any place that there's cars, people should not be there. Like, period. It's just, the probability is it will end in disaster. The probability, according to me, who's done zero mathematical computations. That's just my opinion, basically. But I think one is one too many, and I've definitely known of more than one person that's been struck by cars. My boss at my old company that I used to work for, he rode road bikes, and it seemed like he was telling me pretty frequently about somebody that would get hit by a car. So that's no good. I mean, I like to do stuff that I like to run, but I don't want to necessarily die like that from getting hit by a car. But why am I on this tangent? Okay, so I wouldn't want to run in the road there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please Google India traffic scene or India street scene or something. It is bonkers. There's vehicles, first of all, going everywhere. I don't think lanes of traffic exist. Direction is kind of like optional. Like, you could pretty much be driving in reverse, I think, if you wanted to. There's goats and cows and like people, motorcycles everywhere. Like, it's crazy. If you've ever seen Shibuya crossing in Japan, it's kind of like that, but not organized at all. So running there would be quite an adventure, and it would probably end up with you getting run over by a tuk-tuk. So I wouldn't want to run in the road there. The good thing about where I was at, and judging from my ride to and from the airport, vast swaths of India, it was wide open spaces. So there's plenty of places that a person could have probably run some long distances and had some really beautiful scenery. And so one of the places that I want to do some running is in India. We're planning a trip. Of course, the world may have different plans for us, but we're planning to go to a wedding in India, in February of next year. So we'll see how that goes. There's a COVID thing, of course. There is the COVID thing right now going on, and no one can really know definitively when that will be done. Well, not done, but when it will be safe to travel and all again. And because you don't want to go to India with any kind of health problems. You don't want to acquire health problems while you're there. To me, India felt like the farthest that I had ever been from home. It felt like I might as well have been on Pluto. Like it was so foreign to me, and that's not a slight in the least. I loved it. The people were so kind. Everybody that I met, and I'm sure there's a lot of Indian people that would laugh at that comment, but the people that I interacted with were very nice, and I liked it a lot there, but I wouldn't want to have to, receive medical care or be in some kind of dire straits there, be stuck there or whatever. It would be very scary. If I remember correctly, and I'm pretty sure I remember correctly, like in the airport, the police have automatic rifles like inside the airport. It was so different to me. But yeah, point being, I wouldn't want to be stuck there medically or otherwise, and so we'll see. But we're supposed to go back in February. If it pans out, maybe I'll get to do some running there. I really want to. And there's a lot of places that I would definitely not say no. I would go pretty much anywhere and do some running, as long as it was relatively safe. I don't want to go to any war-torn places or anything like that, for obvious reasons. But yeah, I'm sure that was interesting to no one but me, and even me, it's kind of questionable. But so yeah, that's my current aspiration, my current fixation. Maybe doing some running there. I'll tell you what. Tomorrow I'm going to a place that I have not been before, and it's another place. It's one of those things, like I was talking about last time, where it's been here, plain sight, this whole time. I just have not explored it. So I'm going to Mana Road, which is a road that kind of starts from Saddle Road near Mauna Kea and wraps around and goes all the way into Waimea, right? So it kind of travels around, kind of far out from the mountain, but it goes along the north side between Mauna Kea and Waimea. Waimea is a town in the northern part of Hawaii, and Mauna Kea, did I say that right? Waimea is the town. Mauna Kea is the volcanic mountain, which is dormant right now. I believe that's the official status. And it's 14,300 feet, I think, hopefully I got that right. But anyway, so going up there, and it's going to be different. I have been on Mauna Kea. Matter of fact, with the help of some friends, I was able to overcome my anxiety and actually be on the top of Mauna Kea for the first time. I think it was January of last year? I think. Yeah. There's a lot of things that have been going on up in that area, and so it has been kind of closed off to the public. And I think that we went up about a day or two. Sorry, yawning. I think we went up about a day or two before it kind of became closed off to the public, more or less. But yeah, so we're going up to Mauna Road. I'm excited about that. I think my buddy's going to stay in his Jeep, and then I am going to do some running, and then I'll probably spend some time in my buddy's Jeep as well, because I don't think I'm going to run the whole thing. It's a pretty good little stretch, but we'll see. I've been, like I say, up to the top, and then there's also other roads and trails that are like hunting trails, jeep trails, all on top of the mountain. It's a massive piece of land, and lots of little interwoven trails and cool things to see. It's a cool place. It's a very what's the word? Some people would say spiritual. There's a feeling there for sure. You can sit even at the lower levels, like the visitor center level, and you can look out, and you're above the clouds most of the time. So it's like you're in a jet or something, looking out above the clouds. And it's interesting. You can't tell. Like, I can't see my house anymore. Not that I could anyway, but you know, everything's covered up with the layer of clouds, and you're just above, and it's just clear sky. So, really neat place. I'm excited to see what Mauna Road is all about, because I've never been on it, to my knowledge. I may have been, and I just forgot, but I don't think that I've been on it. So I'm excited about that. And then we'll probably spend excuse me again, yawning again. We'll probably spend Sunday at the reservoir and not the waterfalls, because those are totally off limits right now and possibly forever. Again, a little reminder, if you are in Hawaii or you're visiting or you live here and coincidentally are listening to this podcast, leave your trash at home. Stop throwing it on the trail. Seriously. And take your clothes with you. Why do people leave their clothes on the trail? The only thing I can think is either they dropped them and just didn't know, or they're using them for TP and then just leaving them. Either way, calm down with that nonsense. Like, take your stuff with you. There's transfer stations everywhere, and you can dump your things there for free, except for tires. And I see a lot of tires too. But yeah, just stop leaving your garbage everywhere. It's crazy. I'm trying to think. So Mauna Road, and then Reservoir on Sunday, and then back to work. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else exciting that's up and coming. Nope, there's not. Not that I can think of, but when I do, I'll put it on a podcast. So I wanted to talk a little bit today too, before I close this up, just about, I guess, kind of mentorship. And so, no matter what it is in life, as you do it more and more and more, so like in this case, running for me, and it's not that I'm an excellent runner or that I know all there is to know or that my advice is solid gold, but I know a little bit, okay, to have experience. I can read a book like Born to Run and like light bulbs are going off everywhere because I'm thinking, oh, well, I knew that. Like I've experienced that. So I know that's true. That's not just something I read in the book. Like I have confirmation. For me, that is a true statement. Cause and effect or whatever. So with that knowledge, isn't it great to be able to kind of keep that going and mentor people that are eager to learn and could use those skills, and then they too can go through the cycle, build up to be more of an expert, and then give advice to the next generation of new runners or whatever it is. And so I would kindly urge everybody that is listening, if you're out there and you're just starting out, then there's nothing wrong with that. And I think I've said this before, but we'll talk about running. We'll talk about this in the context of running, because that's what this is. This is a Running Thought podcast. So if somebody's starting out running, it doesn't matter if they're 80 years old or 12. It doesn't matter if they're fat or skinny or, whatever. If they've got a bum knee or whatever. It doesn't matter. If you run, right? If you run 2 steps, you're a runner. It doesn't matter about your shoes or your clothes or whatever. A runner is a runner. And if you need special permission to be a runner, I'm giving it to you right now. So you can tell everybody that Clint from a Runnin' Thought podcast gave you permission to be out on the trails, running no matter what. Okay? If anybody gives you guff, you send them to this podcast and this episode, and then they'll know. Okay? So I'm giving you permission. So don't ever walk into a running store like I did and think, tell the staff there, like, hey, I'm sorry to bother you. I am a runner, even though I don't look like one. Totally unnecessary for me to even say that, because there is no defining what a runner is, other than, do you put one foot in front of the other as fast as you possibly can, right? So if the answer is yes, then you're a runner. If the answer is no, then you still may be a runner. So look into that. But yeah, it doesn't matter your shoes, your clothes, your ability. If you run, you're a runner, and shouldn't accept anything but that title. So it's easy to do. It's easy enough to do. You basically just have to exist and run. But that's if you're starting out. You are just existing and running, and you're going to do that. And you're going to probably, if you're anything like me, you're going to want to do it a little bit longer, and that's going to build. And you'll build up to doing probably ultras and super ultras, like if you're really into it, the Badwater, or what's the other one? Starts with the L. And of course, I don't remember it now. Leadville. Yeah. It's 240 milers or more. Who knows what it'll end up being in 5 or 10 years? Might be 500 miles. It's what makes you a bad A. I don't want to cuss on this because it's rated for Apple and Android is like a PG-13, I think, is the highest. But yeah, if you really want to be bad, then it might eventually end up you'll have to run 500 miles. But whatever, if you run a half a mile or 100, whatever, 500, you're still a runner. Your title doesn't change that much. But you're going to gain experience, and with that experience comes the responsibility, the experience gain. This is the responsibility of sharing that one way or the other. And so part of my process in doing that is sharing this podcast with everybody that wants to listen. And so it could be a lot of people, or it could be a little bit. I think it's just a little bit right now. Who knows? May grow, may not. But it's a legitimate sharing operation. I don't really get any monetary satisfaction out of doing this. I've got the shop up, but I don't really make that much money from the shop or ads. I don't make any money from ads, actually, because not enough people listen to this to gain the interest of advertisers. So this is done. This podcast is something that I do for all the reasons that I listed in, I think, the first podcast. It's for my son or anybody that wants to run. It's kind of like my fatherly running advice and antidotes to you. But it's my responsibility and everybody's to start conveying knowledge so that less people get hurt, and more people know what to do. Like, you don't have to buy all this new gear. Most of it's useless. You don't have to run every second of an ultra. You can I said ultra, but I meant ultra. You can walk. It's okay to walk. If you can't see the top of the hill, walk. Right? So yeah, just little things like that, all the way up to big things. It becomes your job to pass that knowledge down and mentor others. So that's where I'd like to think that I'm at. I know that I'm still in the learning phase as well. And then eventually, I guess it comes down to I can't do this anymore because arms or legs don't work, one or the other. So hopefully that's way on down the road. I don't even know why I just said that. I'm super tired. That's why. Like, my eyes were closed when I just said that. I'm literally just talking just out of nothing. It's just coming from either. So, yeah, fostering others is kind of where I feel like I'm at, but I'm in the baby segment of that. So I'm still learning and trying to figure stuff out. And 2, I'm no expert. I do not run fast, and I do not eat like I'm supposed to. And I mean, I do a little bit to an extent, but I'm not. I'm by no means perfected. So I'm still learning a little bit and trying to teach and pass on and carry on, and kind of get people involved and make them feel welcome, and that's also your job too. And so I'm just throwing that out there. You don't have to do it right away if you're still in the baby steps of learning. Just give it time, stick with it, and you'll know when the time's right. But yeah, so nothing but words of encouragement for this podcast. I'm getting close to an hour, but I'm also getting very tired, so I may have to cut this one short. And I think I'm ending on a positive note, other than my delirious rambling. I did manage to cover up some loose ends from the last podcast, not all of them, but or the last episode. Not all of them, but some of them. And, talk about some fun stuff that's going to go on over the weekend. I'll try to get another podcast up tomorrow after we go to Monterey. And if I can get some pictures while I'm up there, I will definitely take some to kind of better demonstrate the sights and sounds of Monterey Road. Alright, well, that's it for today. Everybody stay safe, and we'll see you back next time. And for goodness sake, get out there and do some running. Don't sit on your couch. There's plenty of couch guards. Alright, take care.